Hello, I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim. Today's gonna be storytelling time. So, today's story is going to be based upon what the incident that recently happened, how it affected me, and why. Now, coming out. That's extremely hard. This is something that I had to really look into because what I'll call him Kenda had said was something that actually related to another thing that had happened, during the time that I'd known Kenda, as to what I had shared with Kenda. So, I mean, let's just say that, my abusers in real life had degraded me in many ways and conditioned me to believe certain things. And basically, you'll understand after I do this reading, I'm going to do a part two explaining it more in depth as to what they had done. The people in this group, I mean, one, it was kind of, it's funny. I'll be showing what they said, all of it. I'll be showing all the screenshots of this hate group and what they've said. One of them said that, John Paul, Santa Viking, was using me. He was only, saying this and that, just to keep them going, and, so what? Yeah, he maybe we worked together. I look at it in the end, I still got John Paul in the end. However it happened, I really don't care. But you know what? They said that he used me or whatever. But something. If anything, Kenda should realize that he's being used. I mean, what kind of friends are these where you see them talking all this crap about me? Literally. I mean, these people are saying things such as I'm lying about being abused, even raped, and stuff like that. What kind of person is in this type of group? And it's funny that this same person complains about, you know, how he's had relationships where, like, one, you know, person he was with, she wanted him to do stupid things, and, it was like, yeah, they don't deserve me. Well, you know what? People don't deserve to have anybody like you in their life when you would do something like this to somebody that respected and trusted you. That's what I have to say. What you're doing is really stupid too, and you're doing it on purpose. You made that choice. Nobody asked you to do it. So, anybody who's in these types of groups, you're pretty ignorant, especially when you're doing it against somebody who is your friend. As I noticed, Snot Loyal's in there too. Anybody who's in that group and actually stayed in there, even if you didn't say anything, you guys are nothing but what I would say Kenda said is dog crap. Piles of dog crap is what you are. To sit there and act like you care about somebody, yet you'd be in a hate group where they're talking shit like this. What kind of people are you? And you know what? Yeah, this happens online, but you know what? This happens in real life. And that brings me to what my friend said. And it was very wise of her, because these types of people, they're the same way in real life. This just really shows them, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're online or in real life. People will show who they really are. So even if you've known them for years, they say, well, maybe they changed. But you know what? Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did something in the past that really showed, you who they really are. Sometimes, like myself, you think, well, you try to think the best of people. But if there's something, a red flag that's showing who they are, you should take that seriously and keep an eye on it, you know? And she's actually right, because I had known somebody, I guess I met them like in 2013, and I still remember them saying something that was, showed that they're pretty self-centered and not empathetic and not caring about others. And, years later I saw them and I'm thinking, well, they seem nice and da da da. But you know what? Those signs started showing, you know? It was almost like, wow, you know? So, I mean, my friend is right, she was like, well, that just shows you that people, you should really take what they say or do seriously as to showing who they really are as a person, you know? Okay, so what I'm going to read is going to be based about the topic of coming out as to how that situation had affected me in such horrible ways. Because actually, believe it or not, it was something that I myself struggle with even to this day, and something that I have struggled with most of my life. Uh, almost all of it so far. And it's something that I myself have held hidden and try to keep hidden. You may see this on the outside, but there's certain things that can hold somebody back. Even when it comes to relationships and how they feel about them, and trusting or even wanting to be in them. So even though I have to say that my abusers, they've degraded me in many ways. Let's just say that the things that Kenda had actually said was like, I mean, it just like topped it all in one, in such a short amount of time. I mean, literally, it was that horrible that it just, brought out, something. Because you hear something like that from somebody you had trusted, you know, or respected all at once, and they do something like that, it does hurt, and it did bring up certain feelings that I had within myself that really, is still affecting me now, because let's just say it was extremely hurtful, and it affected me in more ways, bringing up things that, you know, I wasn't ready to deal with as of right now. I mean, I was going really good, progressing, and, of course, like a narcissist, they're not going to give a shit, and that's not my purpose of doing this, because I already know that these people don't give a shit. They have narcissistic behaviors that are abusive. They don't give a shit. They're narcissistic, self-centered assholes, that they choose to be, you know, because, I mean, it's obvious, because even with, after that incident happened, this same person, they would expect me to apologize if I had hurt their feelings. But if they hurt mine, nothing. No apology, nothing. And you know what? That's actually narcissistic behaviors. That's just like a narcissist. They expect you to apologize if you hurt their feelings, but, them do it. They don't give a shit if they hurt your feelings. That's their purpose, They're better than you, only they deserve, So, yes, again, they choose to be an asshole. That's what it is. So I'm going to do my reading of coming out, and based upon my feelings as to how this situation brought up other feelings that actually had felt for most of my life now. Serenity was a seed that was meant to be a unique soul indeed. For Serenity has a heart like no other soul could ever imagine to know. Serenity is a heart that had been opposed to even grow. She was cursed by being born in the dark tunnel with no escape, for she was tainted by the most evilest people who should have never been given the chance to ever exist. Serenity wanted to grow more than one will ever know, for she has an extraordinary strength that always shocks others in so many ways. Many disbelieve the obvious that most are incapable to ever perceive. For Serenity was restrained from being who she was meant to be. The evilest people who were given the miracle of unique, magnificent wonder tortured her heart and soul with an enormous amount of painful strikes that others will ever be able to know. Every time Serenity was ready to strive again and try to grow, the three evilest beings made certain that she would never be able to do so. Serenity had been overtrimmed and malnourished for so many years that she lost hope to ever get another chance to grow. One day, Serenity met another heart that was like a mirror, with a reflection of everything that she wanted to be. Although her deepest instinct of trust and safety was going to be a huge blow. For this heart ended up showing her the deepest pain that she even denied to ever see. This pain she has been hiding so well, not only from herself, but others as well. This pain was the moldiest weed that always held her back from being able to love herself in ways that one needs in order to nurture and grow. This mold contains what the three evilest beings had implanted with Veramity in so many ways that most would never be able to endure. Veramity never thought that it was possible for this hidden pain to ever ignite in ways that would end up causing her more obstacles, that hindered her from feeling that she could grow in more ways than what the three evilest beings allowed her to even know. Until one day, the mirror that seemed to be the light ended up being what caused Veramity to see what she has been hiding from herself the most. This pain that has been hidden for most of her life now is the darkest secret that Veramity is still ashamed to ever be seen. For most others see the pretty stems that have been covered up by plastic fake stems to hide this shameful secret that Veramity hoped nobody would ever see. This shameful secret is the hot mess of stems that have been tortured by the three evilest beings. The pain of not believing that she will ever be good enough to be in any type of relationship that would grow in positive ways that most believe is a piece of cake without hardly any obstacles that would hinder them to be. It was one night in the year of 2023 when Veramity had seen the most painful thing she could ever imagine to be. The most painful part was that this deep, dark secret was opened by the one being she never thought possible to ever be. This one unexpected being happened to be Pubristly Direst, that had turned into a toxic shart. He viciously threw many words of toxic sharts that ended up cremating the stone wall barrier that hid Veramity's deepest, darkest secret that she never wanted to be seen. Veramity now has to deal with the pain that is so real and shameful that hiding from this secret isn't an option for her anymore. For this pain is not only real, but it was confirmed by the one being she foolishly trusted to be real. Many selfishly deny Veramity's pain to ever be real, for they were not the one that foolishly opened up to a being about so many dark secrets they had hidden in shame. For this one being was in fact the one Veramity saw as the biggest key to her ever being what she had always dreamed to be. It was on May 25th, 2022, where Veramity felt like she should do the one thing that she never thought possible to ever have the courage to do. Veramity began to let all her dark, painful secrets come out for the very first time. The one she had foolishly trusted to never use these many dark secrets as a weapon to intentionally cause her any regret, shame, or fear. Yet this man did exactly that, and so much more harm than he ever would give a damn to ever know. For this man was Pubristly Direst, that turned out to be the one thing that Serenity had always seen as impossible to be. Now Serenity is stuck in a tunnel full of shame, regret, and fear for foolishly believing that this man was ever to be real. For this man doesn't even have a heart to admit to the pain that he has intentionally caused. But he will never ever give a damn to ever care at all. This man once claimed to be an asshole, but he is wrong. For he is so cold-hearted that he makes all assholes a vase with many beautiful flowers that are actually real. Serenity must now deal with the pain that she hoped she would never ever have to admit is actually real. But she has to admit in shame that she foolishly trusted a man who ended up being more fake than the plastic stems that have covered her pain for so many years. Yes, that was a lot. But that was one way that I express my feelings based upon what happened. And it's very true. And it did affect me negatively based upon what that person had said and what they said exactly. And basically, it was something I had, opened up to. I'm not going to sit there and blame myself for it happening because you know what? This can happen in real life. Yeah, you know what? It was actually easier to do it online in writing and saying it that way to this person and opening up. Then, it could happen in real life too. Then he would say, "Why'd you open up to somebody online?" You know what? This happens in real life too. These days, there's so many freaking assholes out there that you can open up to anybody and they'll hold it against you and use it. Heck, my abusers did it to me in my real life. They did that to me my whole entire life. They made up lies and blah, 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 blah. So this happens anywhere. And, me coming out, which is extremely hard because it's one of the things I'm still not sure if I'll be able to do it. We'll see in part 2 how well I can open up, and I'll do it as much as I can because it's really hard to do because it's something I myself have held within me throughout most of my life due to the abuse and me being conditioned and how it affected me negatively as to how I think about myself and how I feel about myself. And it will be based upon what this person had said and done to me that had made this come out, and I'm still dealing with that because it's something that I've kept hidden for so long. It's not something I wanted to deal with right now, especially after, what I've already been through and was trying to deal with first. I mean, I eventually hoped to get to that point, but, this person had to do these, abusive behaviors now as to where I'm going to need to deal with it now. So I hope you join me for part 2 to really go into hopefully detail as to coming out based on this recent bullying incident and that hate group incident where Kenda had said some really cruel and despicable things about me in that group. So, see you for part 2. I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim.